Because I'm sitting here on my couch and I'm like, Lord, I know you told me to do this, but I don't got nothing for him. Not that I don't have nothing. And if I mute your mic, it's because it's unmuted. And as I was sitting there just talking to the Father, guess what? He began to download. So, all right, I'm mute. Try to mute your mics when y'all come in. There's no you don't have to request admission. So if you come and go, just make sure you mute your mic on the way in. So I'm gonna give it to you how he gave it to me, because it literally ended up coming full circle to where he's gonna have us begin. So I pray that y'all did not come here to be nosy. I pray that y'all did not come here to be a monitor in spirit. I pray y'all got your pens and your paper, because I can't guarantee you're gonna get this video. Okay. And take your notes, because you can't say that God did not tell you. And I'm gonna say it again. I pray that y'all did not come to be nosy. There's enough clubhouse rooms for that, or to be a monitoring spirit. I want y'all to be serious about what God is about to say, because it ain't a game, but he wants us to be prepared. And now it's time for us to come into private, share amongst ourselves, and judge ourselves accordingly. So the first thing the Father said was, prepare ye the way. He said, it is time for the John the Baptist, that God has placed a witness in the mouths of many. And it's time for the John the Baptist to come to the forefront and prepare ye the way. Go out. And John the Baptist was like one of the biggest evangelists that we could think of, right? Especially in biblical times, where he went before Christ and prepared the way and had the people looking for him, even more than if he hadn't. So if you know that God has called you to prepare the way for who? Prepare the way for the coming of Christ. Prepare the way for the prophets. Prepare the way for the flock to find the shepherd that they're assigned to. When you go out there and you begin to open up your mouth, it's going to set them on a journey now in their relationship with the Father. So I say this to say, for the 31 folks on this line, including myself, today's the last day you can be silent about your relationship with Christ. It has to extend you coming on Clubhouse and just sitting in the Christian room. It has to extend you just talking to your family. You have to come out from behind the doors. I don't care if you're in the grocery store, you can be getting your tire fixed. God is going to drop a word in your mouth to prepare ye the way, because the people are in need, okay? And they are in need of a relationship with the Father, because what's coming next, you'll understand how we're going to end up full circle. So all my John the Baptists, the Father says, get out there and prepare ye the way. Next, I heard that there's going to be a market blackout. So at this point, I'm like, Lord, market blackout, what does that mean? Like, don't be having me out here looking foolish. You know how God have you out here putting stuff out there and just be like, what is that? So he said to tell y'all, get your stuff ready. Get your stuff up. It needs to be ready to view and buy by October. Get your stuff up, ready to view, and buy, B-U-Y, by October. No excuses. He said, by October. He said, this market reset will push you to the front of the line. If you don't listen, then it's on you. If you still sitting in a place of doubt and fear, then it's on you. It's as simple as, if you need a website and you have a product, go to PayHip. It's free. Okay? But at this point, if you don't adhere to the voice of the Father, it is on you. Market blackout is coming. God said there's going to be a market blackout. Get your stuff up, ready to view, and buy by October. This market reset will push you to the front of the line. Okay. So that means where you once were not able to be seen with your stuff, now everywhere you turn, somebody's able to see your stuff. I was in a grocery store today and I was looking for, my son wanted some Fruity Pebbles, so I'll pray for him. And I was looking for some Fruity Pebbles and I was looking up and then I was looking down, but see, the down was too low. So if it was down there, I wasn't going to get it. So I ended up going with what was right in front of my face. Okay. That box right there. Okay. So just like I was out there looking and I just took what I could see, God is saying he's going to put your stuff in the forefront, but you got till October to give people something to buy. You know, why is this going to be important? We're going to get there. Next, the Father said, make the content. He said, 2024, the year you will be in high demand. He said, make the content. Don't get discouraged if you get 1 like, 2 like. Don't get discouraged because your camera quality ain't that great or the lighting ain't perfect. He said, make it and put it out there. They'll be able to see the growth and the progression. Okay. Hold on. We got some folks unmuted. Let me mute. He said, make the content. All right. And then he said, 2024, the year you will be in high demand. If you start now, you won't get or feel overwhelmed. If you don't start now, you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to open up a door for a demonic spirit to attach itself to you that doesn't belong to you. So I would advise you all to start now. I don't know what all y'all do, but whatever y'all do, gotta say, make the content. Because by this time next year, you're going to be in high demand. You know what high demand is? That means that there are going to be some folks who are going to be knocked out and knocked off during this market blackout within your industry that's going to push you, like he said, to the forefront, whereas your products are going to be selling. They're going to be selling out and people are going to be looking for more from you. People are going to be coming to you, asking you for what you have to offer. 2024, the year you will be in high demand, saith the Father. If you start now, I'm repeating this so y'all get it, you won't get or feel overwhelmed. If you don't start now, you're going to feel overwhelmed. If you don't start now, you wake up and out the blue, your website is sold out, or your YouTube videos have reached 1.1 million views, or you know, whatever it is that your services, you all booked up, you're going to feel overwhelmed. But if you begin to prepare now, 2024, that's going to be a year to remember for you. Now, this is for September, October, November, December. We are still in August. So God is speaking to the future months. September, October, November, and December. He took me to Jeremiah 29. I said, Lord, we know that scripture. How many of y'all know God just be like, just hush. just go there. I'm like, Lord, we know this. They're going to feel like I'm telling them the same thing over. But I'm going to read for you. I'm going to read from verse 1 to verse 14. I'm going to skip over some of the stuff, some of the names, because not necessarily relevant, but relevant. So starting in verse 1. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders, which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. So this is speaking to every area in your life where you have been carried away captive, where you have been bound in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So, I'm going to skip to verse 4. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. God has allowed a lot of the stuff y'all have experienced in your life existence for a reason, and it served the purpose to get you together. And did it not get you together? It did. Did it not shake some of you up? It did. Did it not get you back on target? It did. Build ye houses. And dwell in them. Okay, we building and dwelling. And plant gardens. Oh, we planting gardens and we planting and eating. This is okay, Lord. That's why I had to shut up. I said, okay, I'm building and I'm living. I'm planting and I'm eating. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters. So, my spouse coming. We gonna have babies. Okay, we gonna get married. And take wives for your sons. Your kids is not going to have to deal with the same thing you dealt with. They don't have to be, and I'm 43, so I'm putting myself out there. 43 and not married yet. No, they're going to get married at a nice age and have their kids, okay? And give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, and that ye may be increased there and not diminished. So God is bringing the increase to the body. Write that down. Jeremiah 29. There's an increase coming to the body of Christ. And here's the thing. I'm glad this is being recorded. Let me write this down because God is talking while we're talking. We're going to see an influx of sons born. You're going to see folks getting pregnant. Every time you ask somebody, well, what you have? It's going to be a boy. It's going to be an influx. God is going to restore and replenish for the ones who got slain or didn't make it in here the way they were supposed to make it in here for whatever reason, okay? So we're going to see an influx of baby boys being born, and we're going to see an influx of weddings, betrothals, like engagements, and God is bringing increase in that area, in an area where we have been lacking. The men are coming back in relationship with the Father. For those who are on the wall with us on the prayer watch, I want you to know that God is saying that your prayers are not in vain. The men are coming back in relationship with the Father. All right, now this is key. Verse 7. And seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. So I thought about this. I said, Lord, well, to be honest with you, like, we not in slavery. Slavery ended a minute ago. It might be a different form, but it's not like it was. And he said, well, haven't you felt stuck in Maryland? I said, yeah, you're right. Haven't you felt stuck in the city and the place that you were at? I said, yeah, you're right. Haven't you been ready to get up out of there, but you feel like every time you try to move to the left or the right, the north, the south, the east, or the west, that something is getting in your way? I said, okay, I'm going to shut up again and just keep reading. So that was verse 7. We're going to come back to that. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye cause to be dreamed. Be very careful of who you're listening to. September, October, November, December. The Python spirit of divination is on the prowl. There have been lying spirits that have been sent to the mouths of the false prophets, to the diviners. And you're going to find that if you allow the wrong one to speak over you, then even your dreams are going to shift, and you're going to dream dreams in a realm that God has not sent you to be in. And you're going to be looking for interpretation, and it's not even going to be of the Lord that you're even in that space. It's because you've opened doors because of who you have allowed to lie to you. Okay? For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith the Lord. Just like, I think it was yesterday in Cookie's room. Who sent you? Who sent you? That's what you need to start asking. I got a word for you. Who sent you? I got a prophetic. Who sent you? You better start asking folks, who sent you? Because God is saying that there are people who are coming that God has not sent, and they have been sent to deceive you. They have a lying tongue. The Python spirit is running rampant, and its assignment is against you. Who sent you? Your sister called you. Who sent you? Your mother call you. Who sent you? Your best friend call you. Who sent you? Because you don't have time and space right now to be sitting here believing anything that God did not say. Okay? For thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. You shall seek me and find me when you shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity. Oh, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you. Some of you are in locations because God placed you there, and he's about to restore you back. God placed your ancestors there because of their disobedience, and he's about to restore your bloodline back. And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Some of you are about to land right back where you were supposed to be, but you got stuck in a place because of disobedience or the disobedience of your ancestors. Now, this is where we're going to go back and we're going to pick it out for a second. September, October, November, December. God said to stress to you, verse 7, and seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, and the peace thereof shall ye have peace. September, October, November, December, your prayer should be peace in your city, that God will give you peace where you are, and that peace shall come upon your homes. September, October, November, December, pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. Ain't supposed to be a whole bunch of warfare. Your warfare, the warfare that you're doing, once you finish this next assignment, the rest of this year is supposed to be a peaceful time for you. And when it looks like it's about to start shaking up some, don't forget Jeremiah 29:7, that God is commanding you to pray for peace on your city, and that you will have peace where you are. Turn verse 7 into a prayer and use it as your sword. September, October, November, December. It's not supposed to be warfare, extreme turmoil. You're literally supposed to be riding the wave of peace for the rest of the year after this next assignment is completed. This is what God said to give y'all. Now, let's go back here for a second. Verse 10. Thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished. So what is happening now, this is a 70-year reset on your bloodline. All that was done over the past 70 years on your bloodline is being reset. Uh-oh. See, I don't know about y'all, but I'm happy, because just in case I missed something when I was fasting and praying against some generational curses, God is saying, I got you. And he said that everything over the last 70 years that had happened, this is a time of restoration. I will visit you. God is going to begin to visit you more and perform his good towards you. You're going to see so many good things happening in your life, causing you to return to this place. And this goes into the expected end he talks about. He said, you're going to call upon me and you're going to pray to me. And guess what? I'm going to answer your prayers. It ain't going to take us much. It's not going to take us long. The last 70 years of damage that your ancestors did is now expiring. Any contract from the last 70 years is now expiring. He's resetting your bloodline. Oof. Come on, y'all. He's resetting your bloodline. Those 70 years of stuff that your ancestors did, those 70 years of evil altars, you have between now, because you have an assignment. Don't just think you're going to sit and just wait till September. No. Each one of you have an assignment right now. Complete your assignment and not be in disobedience. This all yours. God said this all yours. So That is the word of the Lord from Jeremiah 29. Listen, if I stop right there, I didn't said enough, but he gave me more. Now, mark this date. Put it on your calendar, put it in your phone. All I know is I literally saw this date as I close my eyes. It is December the 26th. Do I know what's going to happen on or by December? I don't. But the Father said to ready yourselves. Write the date down. Refer to this as a prophetic date or something like that. December the 26th, God says, ready yourselves. For what? I don't know in particular, but allow the Lord to minister to you individually how it relates to you. Now, you're going to see how this stuff is going to go kind of full circle, because once the Lord began going, he didn't stop. So I heard the word. Well, wait, let me go here. He also said, come back to the heart of worship. I don't want to skip that part because these are important instructions before we get to the next. He said, come back to the heart of worship. Okay. So if you're not a worshiper, you don't consider yourself a worshiper, if you don't worship, God is calling you, especially September, October, and November, to come back into a place to the heart of worship before him. Listen, if y'all gonna be riding this wave of peace for the end of the year, how can you not? How can you not worship him? How can you not find time to worship him when your life is now settled? When the storm has now ceased? When you just chilling, you watching all the other stuff going around you, but it ain't your house and it ain't just how can you not worship? He said, come back to the heart of worship. All right. Now, he started getting into world events, international trade embargoes. Now, I'm a pretty smart cookie, but I had to look it up because my brain hurt. And an embargo is a trade restriction typically adopted by a government, a group of countries, or an international organization as an economic sanction. There are going to be international trade embargoes that are going to be set in place against the United States. So now listen, I'm like, all right, Lord, where are we going with this? Are you done? Follow along the path with me, okay? So he left it at that for a second. Then he went to, for the remaining of the year, starting in September, your personal prayer watches, the two that are going to be vital are the 4th and the 7th prayer watch. The 4th prayer watch is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And the 7th prayer watch is 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. He said those two are going to be the most vital prayer watches for the remainder of the year, starting in September. Okay? Judge yourself accordingly. Don't let your flesh tell you in the sleep when God is telling you he needs you on the watchtower. Because I can guarantee you, especially for my friends who are on the wall with me, God is showing and he is speaking during the prayer watches. So, 4th prayer watch, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and the 7th prayer watch, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. are going to be the two, and not that the other ones don't count. We should be praying in multiple prayer watches anyway. It's just that these two are going to be vital over the next remaining months. And a lot of it's going to have to do with the moon cycle. What does the moon cycle have to do with it? Well, I'll do a teaching. But during those prayer watches, the heavens are going to be open more. September, October, November. All right. He began to say that there's going to be a shift in the aviation industry. He said, prepare to drive. Get your licenses and passports, carpool if necessary, create a system. So if you don't have your license, your driver's license, you better work on getting it. If you don't have a passport, that should be expeditious. And that there's going to be a shift in aviation. That's the airlines and aircraft industry. and that people are going to be driving more to locations than flying. So prepare. And if that means you got to connect with other folks in your area to carpool to help out, do what you got to do. It's on the website. All you got to do is create it. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. So if you go on the propheticremnant.com, I really was only doing it for members, but if you do it and I recognize your name from the list, I'll let you in. All right. Public transportation route changes and blackouts affecting low-income households. It will affect them the most. So if you would take public transportation, or if you know folks that rely on public transportation, there's a blackout that's coming as it relates to public transportation. Judge yourself accordingly. Judge yourself accordingly. Unsturdy housing market, prepare for the crash. A lot of folks right now are homeless or about to be homeless, especially those who are renting, who didn't pay during COVID, and now they're trying to, recoup their money, and the courts are now in the favor of the landlords, and you're going to begin to see, and it goes back to the prophetic word that God gave that some folks going to have to move back home. Some folks, your family members going to have to move in with you. The housing market is about to crash. All right. Banks going bankrupt. You're going to hear of some banks going bankrupt. And colleges closing down for lack of funds and enrollment. And you're going to hear of some colleges that are closing down and no longer accepting admissions. God says to learn a skill and a trade. He said, learn a skill and a trade by 2025. AI is going to be the larger percentage of the workforce by 2025. If you don't learn a skill or a trade between now and then, you're going to find yourself in a sticky situation, okay? Start partnering in your endeavors and engage in multiple endeavors. So that means, I'll give an example. I can be on Brigique's team and help Brigique out. And I could be on Mo's team and help Mo out. Tangi could be on my team and help me out. They all could be on my team. Pair up to get her done. Everybody help each other in the vision that God gave them for whatever you can fit in. And he said have multiple partnerships. So that means you will have multiple endeavors that you are participating in. Okay? Now, to some extent, or hear me clear, for those that I'm like, saying about nobody else but you in the season. No, see, this does not say forget you. Okay? This says do you, and let someone partner with you to help you do you. And as they're partnering with you, then you can either partner with them or someone else to help them do them in the area that you have the expertise. So that way, you now have multiple streams of income coming in due to the partnerships. This whole solo dolo walk ain't gonna work. Now that AI has hit the scene, because AI is coming for your jobs. If you do customer service, it's only but a short time. If you do data entry, it's only but a short time. If you do anything entry level outside of a supervisory or assistant supervisor, they coming for your job. And then by 2027, it's going to go even higher. All right. I heard weather. Then I saw clouds forming and gathering. And I'm like, all right, Lord, what is this? Like, I literally saw like clouds like gathering together. And then I heard a tree falling in the north. There will it lie. So we go to Ecclesiastes 11:3. Let's go there. Ecclesiastes 11. Oh, thank you, Lord. Take me right to Ecclesiastes 11, verse 3. And it reads, if the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. And then the next thing the Father led me to, it was, if you say that war clouds are gathering over a particular country, you mean that a war, I can't even read my own handwriting. A war seems increasingly likely there. A tree falling in the north, there will it be. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 3. We already know that war is coming, but I'm telling you now, I see the clouds gathering over the north. Remember when the prophet told the young boy that the rain was coming? He said, go look for the cloud. He said, I don't see enough. He said, go back again. And he had to go back 7 times before he said, I see it look like a fist. I'm telling y'all now, I see a cloud forming over the north. Now, let's go here. All right. So the Lord went a little further and he said, Antarctica is opening up. What will be revealed? The lot of it shall crumble under the weight of the glory, but yet will some remain. I'm going to repeat that again. He said, Antarctica is opening up. What will be revealed? The lot of it shall crumble under the weight of the glory, but yet will some remain. I said, okay. He said, arm yourselves, prepare your homes, the invasion of privacy, the invasion of land, the invasion of the supernatural, good and bad. So, we'll keep going. Now I'm working. I ran out of space. He says, and don't forget Antarctica. It's going to double back around. He says, you are really planning for 2025. Everyone on this line, you're really planning. Your planning is really for 2025. 2027, it will be set in stone. Which way will you go? Where will you stand? America is crumbling. You are really planning, but you got a year, less than a year and a half. You're really planning and preparing for 2025. And God is saying by 2027, it will be set in stone. Make sure that you're standing where you need to be standing. All right. There will be a political party shift. I don't know who's going to be shifting. He didn't give me a face or a name. He said there will be a shift in political party. And it was in chaos. Hold on. I'm sorry. Everybody good. It will send chaos into governmental affairs. The instability will cause more cracks. So there's going to be a political shift in parties, which will send chaos into governmental affairs. The instability will cause more cracks. Listen to me. I know it doesn't sound like this is applying to you, but by the time we get to the end, you're going to prayerfully understand and see better. He also said in December, stay in the house. He said, stay home more in the month of December. If you can avoid having to go out, avoid having to go out. He said, stay home more in the month of December. Now, this is how we end up going back full circle to the very beginning of what God was preparing us with, right? Because he begins to tell me that there's a portal open in Portugal. I said, a portal in Portugal? I said, Lord, now you really got me sounding crazy. I said, I'm supposed to tell these folks there's a portal in Portugal. They're going to want to see something. You know how folks is. So he had me look some stuff up, right? And Portugal is a European country and it's located on the Atlantic Ocean. Now pay very close attention. He said to watch Europe and what erupts in Europe. The Atlantic Ocean is bounded on the west by North and South America. So our west coast is the Atlantic Ocean, okay? And on the east coast of Europe and Africa, okay? The next thing the father said was canal. I'm like, canal? Listen, this is my thought process. I'm giving it to you how he gave it to me. So he said, yes, canal. The Panama Canal. See, God is so strategic. The Panama Canal connects the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans and divides North and South America. I said, well, let me see more about the Panama Canal and how the United States literally assisted in the building of it, and they had power and control over it for a period of time, but now Panama has gotten the control back. So the canal cuts across the Isthmus of Panama and is a conduit for maritime trade. I said, oh, you know what this goes back to? International trade embargoes. So I said, okay, did a little bit more research. The Pacific Ocean extends from the Arctic Ocean into the north to the Southern Ocean or Antarctica in the south. Now, as the Lord was allowing me to connect it together, and I pray y'all are connecting it together, I literally began to hear, it's kind of like when you listen to a movie, it's like a spirit speaking in the wind, and you can hear it like whooshing and like growling or like speaking like a whisper in the wind. I literally heard, it was like a grayish type color, but it was over the water. I literally heard an evil spirit, and he gave me his name, and he's coming through the Panama Canal towards the United States. The name that I heard was Belfazar, right? Irene helped me to look it up. It's not a demonic name as listed in any of like Wikipedia, this, that, and the third, but there's a whole person who is like the leader of the vampire organization of New Orleans. His name is Belfazar. And that's the exact same name that I heard. And he's into archaic magic, voodoo, Native American spirituality, so on and so forth, right? And I'm like, well, you know, that's not his real name. That's the name of the spirit that's possessing his body. So therefore, I'm here to tell you that when I talk about high level of voodoo, magic, witchcraft activity hitting the land, yeah. And it's coming from across the water. I literally heard it. It was weird too. It sounded like something you hear in one of them movies. If I don't even want to try to mimic it. I'm not going to say the name too many times because, you know, when you say names of demons, you start summoning and conjuring. Okay? So I'm going to just leave it at what I said. Now, we already talked about the Python spirit, but that goes in what God said about the Python spirit. Because he does archaic medicine. That whole spirit is rooted in witchcraft. Okay? Now, I begin to look up the trade between, like, what do they trade on the Panama Canal? So the trade between the East Coast and of the canal versus the East Coast of the US and East Asia. Oh, that's what that is? Because I literally heard him. He on his way. He's on his way. All right. It dominates international canal traffic. So most of the trading that's done on the Panama Canal is the United States. Among the principal commodities and groups carried through the canal are motor vehicles, petroleum products, grains, coal, and coke. And you know that each one of those listed plays a big part in our production and what we're able to put out in grocery stores and so on and so forth. And if there's about to be an international trade embargo that's going to be sanctioned against the United States, and if something's about to go down in the Panama Canal, I'm telling y'all now, listen, if you have not already started to condition your body to eat less, please do. Please do. I'm about to share a screen with you because after, you know, did all that, heard all that from the father, and I was doing the research, he led me to this article, and I was like, oh, how much more confirmation? So I'm gonna share this with you. Hold on. And I came across this article from June the 24th, 2023. And it says U.S. trade dominates Panama Canal traffic. New restrictions due to severe drought are threatening the future of the shipping route. 73% of what is being shipped on that canal is for the U.S. So the U.S. is the largest user of the Panama Canal. All right. And this drought means that the water levels are not as deep. So therefore the weight of the containers had to shift, and it can't weigh as much as it was before. So therefore the amount of what was being brought in and traded is lesser than what it has been in times past. So this is from CNBC News. State of fright. I had not seen this while God was speaking to me. I did not see this till after he had me starting to do research, when he began to say the Panama Canal. And the article literally begins to talk about how the Panama Canal is used the most by the United States. And even since June, they had to lessen how much they were able to operate on a canal because of the drought, because of the depth of the water was not as deep. And therefore, the weight of the containers could not be as heavy. So therefore, it has put a dent in what has been able to be transitioned through the locations. I hope y'all see how all of that came back full circle. Because if we go back to what the Father said initially, prepare ye the way. Market black. Did he not say market black? I didn't understand it. Make the content. Pray peace. Mark the date. Stay in the house. Come back to the heart of worship. International trade embargoes. Something being released out of Antarctica. Shift in aviation. Learn a skill. The clouds are forming and everything else. It all came back full circle. So that is what the Lord has given me, the August prophetic forecast. He hasn't had me to do one in a while. He hasn't really had me to talk about like world news as much as he had before. So I pray y'all judge yourselves accordingly. I'm going to stop this recording now. Hold on.